Moto Academy Supercross, Dave Drake's. We did it. We had our first open practice.
It looked
I was
awesome.
I was nervous because, and I can't wait. There we have a Moto Academy Supercross social page now, so go
Hmm.
follow it if you guys are on any social media form. But it just got started maybe 4 or 5 days ago, so we have just
Hmm.
began kind of rolling content out.
Mm.
I was nervous for this open practice because I didn't schedule it. Deb, the owner of Winchester, scheduled it, and
Hmm.
I hadn't tested the track yet. I hadn't even seen the track yet.
Oh.
So in my mind, I'm like, oh well, okay, I need to put out like a public disclaimer here of, hey guys, this thing's not finished yet. This
Hmm.
track was built in the mud.
Hmm.
Um, it was kind of completed to its current state in the mud.
Hmm.
So that means that some jump faces, I did a riders meeting before we started. Once everybody got there, I'm like, listen, it's going to be like us riding the Supercross tracks on press day, where
Mm.
you
Soft,
you don't know what you're going to get
kinda.
sometimes because
Yeah.
it's sort of like roughed in.
Yep.
And so I gave everybody the kind of the lowdown, so that way I set expectations a little bit.
Hmm.
And so many people showed up. I mean, there was way over 100 bikes, um,
Wow.
probably 300 and something total people, like really as many people as you can kind of fit on the Supercross side.
Hmm.
And it was middle of the week, so it was, Thursday night. Weather was perfect. And dude, the track was so much fun. The
Mm.
track was so much fun. I thought that, honestly, going into it, I was like, if people have fun, awesome. We'll get some feedback and then we'll be able to get some more time to work on this track. But after
Hmm.
after that day, there was only like three little changes that I wanted to make. There was four
Mm.
big 180 turns that I told Robbie to make the berms 2 feet higher.
Hmm.
So just to create more kind of line choice opportunities, make it feel even a little bit more supercrossy.
Hmm.
There was a set of Supercross whips that he built on the
Hmm.
amateur side of it that he built the perfect size. As soon as I hit him in the first lap, because I was the first bike to touch the track,
Hmm.
I knew right away, I'm like, these are going to be perfect, because for me to get on top, it feels like real Supercross whoops, but they're
Hmm.
going to be safe enough and they're not deep enough to where,
Mm.
people are going to have to respect them to some extent. Like,
Yeah.
and sure enough, they played out perfectly. And watching people try to get through there, nobody crashed in the whoops all night, but
Hmm.
people couldn't. There was time to be made and lost big time. So like Joe Tate was there. There was a bunch of local NESC fast guys there,
Hmm.
and watching them try to figure it out, watching just normal C-class dudes try and figure it out and kind of double their way through. It was
Hmm.
exactly what I had hoped for. Before the
Mm.
whoops, there was a table to table. Like, remember back in Winchester Supercross days?
Yep. Yep.
And dude, this table to table, it was so steep in between that
Hmm.
if you didn't jump the table to table, you lost like 2 seconds. It wasn't like you could just
Mm.
scrub it and be like, I don't feel like doing this jump, and you can be
Yeah.
competitive. Like, if you didn't do the table to table and somebody else was, you were gonna get smoked by that guy.
Was it
Um,
a super gnarly table to table? Like,
I mean, it was wide open as fat. I was on a bone stock, brand new. It was my first day riding my 2025 Honda 250.
hmm.
Um, it was preload, stretch, the whole deal, as hard as I could hit it on my stock 250F.
What
So that's
year?
me scrubbing the double before it, setting up. The first 5 or 6 times I did it in second, but I was like
Uh-huh.
at the absolute top of second. And
Mm.
then, because I was afraid, I'm like, a stock bike, if I click third, is it just going to fall flat going into the face? Next thing you know, you're
Yeah.
going to see me just endoing myself.
Hmm.
Um, and so I finally worked up the nerve to hit in third, and it turned out third had that harder pull, and it was actually
Mm.
better in third gear. But nobody else jumped it on a 250. The only other guys to do it were Joe Tate and Aiden Klingen, Rob's son.
Okay.
And
Nice.
they were both on 450s. So I want to say actually that Coach Ty did it at the end of the night on the Stark,
Hmm.
but it took him all day and the whole night to jump it, which is cool. So it's like, it's big enough to where even in the A class, you're probably only going to have the top third of the guys, or maybe half the guys at best in the A class doing it, which is what I wanted. I wanted some
Hmm.
separator. But dude, if you had seen the ruts on this place,
Hmm.
there's so much to talk about. So sorry, because I'm excited here, but we got the dirt from digging a hole on the motocross side, right?
Okay.
So I didn't know. Okay, we got a lot of dirt, great, but what is this stuff? Is there going to be rocks that come up? Is it just like silt that's going to kind of puff away?
Hmm.
Um, perfect dirt. It is. We got
Right.
so lucky, and it is so good, and it rutted up just like, what would it be comparable to? Honestly, it was like Detroit, like good dirt,
Oh,
kind of
but
packs in a
yeah,
little harder, but it also
ruddy, but also not
not
gonna
indie
grip
ready.
your foot pegs and
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
And
So like the perfect ruddy.
yeah, I really like Winchester always has great dirt. I can't remember a time where I've been there and been like, man, I didn't have any line choices or I've kept seeing like, rocks pop up. Like they really do a good job with their dirt. But going back to the layout, when I saw the few clips inside of our chat and stuff like that, it looked like a lot of the minis, some of the beginners, it looked like they had a level of aggression and confidence on that track that you really don't see a lot uh in those classes, especially on Supercross. So it told me that this track had a really cool layout, that everybody did their homework, that it was good not only for the fast guys but for those guys as well. As I saw that a little bit of aggression, a little bit of confidence on some black plates and some minis, and I was like, man, that's awesome to be able to have a new track that those type of riders can feel comfortable at. That's a rarity. You really don't see that a lot of tracks. So
I was so impressed with them because
yeah.
when it started to get rutted up, I rusty because I haven't been really riding, right? It was my first time on that bike. It
Yeah.
had Supercross suspension on it. So I was way oversprung for what this track was. So I was kind of having a tough time. I'm like, nobody's going to be able to, like, everybody's going to be struggling. But New England people, they know how to ride ruts. I tell you, because they were all confident in the way that this track was built. It was so cool because something that I'd be coming out of a turn in second and just, like really sitting into to try to get the triple in.
Yeah.
It was built in a way to where those people could easily charge through and push through and double it. No problem. And still have a good time and kind of jump off the third one, but it not like disrupt their flow entirely. So it was, I was so impressed. I'm like, man, such a closer starting point than what I thought. So we brought the berms higher. Robbie was there yesterday. So today is Easter Sunday. He was there yesterday and on Saturday, all day long. So he made the berms higher. He also added 3 whoops to the beginning of the whoop pad because it wasn't like MetLife type of run in, but it was a big enough run in to where I'm like, if you get a C rider that has some cojones here, it could get ugly. Like let's slow the pace a little bit, make sure they can't come out of this turn, click fourth, and like really Hail Mary it into these things.
Yeah.
So we switched that up. He had an on-off that I thought wouldn't work and nobody would be able to figure out, which played out super, super well because not many guys could get off the off. But the guys that were having to jump on and roll, it wasn't dangerous and it worked well. Then the only real rhythm of question was after that, sort of that runs parallel to the road when you pull in. It was like a 3-5-3 setup, and I really wanted people to be able to tire tap it. But Joe Tate was the only one all night that could tire tap it. It was just like not steep enough, and the lip on the outside wasn't big enough. So there was a couple tweaks in that rhythm that he made. So I think that will help it a little bit. But man, I was so pumped. The lights were awesome. The feedback from every single person was positive. I was sending every random person to go and ask for feedback too. So that way people didn't feel pressure to just tell me, yeah, it's good, and just blow smoke. I want to get realistic feedback. So freaking epic. And what we're going to do now is I finally saw, I don't know if I told you, I ordered these cool big checks. You know what I mean? So like when you're up on the podium, you can get to hold like a big check and take it. At first I saw the price of how much they cost to order them. So I'm like, well, maybe I'll just get a handful and then people can hold them up. And what we're going to do is Moto Academy dollars, right? So people, let's say you win the race, you get 200 Moto Academy dollars. So you can spend it on your next race or your next training, classes, your next tour, apparel on the website, wherever the heck you want, which is a cool concept because we can pay out every single class in that way. Right.
For sure.
But I was like, I'll just get these so that way they can hold them up on the podium, feel cool, and then we just take them back. But I was like, no, people will be pumped to get a big check, to hang that up in their garage or in their bedroom. Like for a kid, that's pretty sweet. So I spent thousands of dollars, don't tell Allie, on these big checks because I thought it would be really cool. And after the first open practice day, we were going to do this just for the races, but after the first open practice, I was like, you know what would add another even cooler element to these open practices when we have them is make the transponders optional, right? So if you want to be a part of the lap time battle, rent a transponder or bring your transponder, slap that bad boy on. We'll have the lap times rolling. We'll have like a projector up onto the building. And then that way, just like at go-karts, you could see people's lap times in real time as they're out there. So it'll create a little bit of a competitive factor, and then hand out awards. Like you could hand out Moto Academy dollars in the check for most improved lap time of the night, or fastest lap time of the 65 class, or just like kind of pick and choose the random classes that you want to award.
Which is really great, because it adds another level of competition, but also you feel rewarded for the effort you're putting out there. How many times have you been to a freaking practice track and you're like, dude, I was crushing it. I know I was going so fast, and you just have to go home and tell your friends about it. No one believes you. But now you have some tangible proof. That's awesome. That's super cool.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that, because especially for me, I was so out of shape that I was only able to do one lap at a time. But my one laps were pretty fast. So I was like, man, it would be a little confidence boost for myself, even if, because I could probably go faster than Joe Tate or Aiden and those guys for one lap on a Supercross track. Not for more than that. So I'm like, it'd be nice to see my name bumped up on the thing. So today, like I said, is Easter Sunday. This will get posted middle of this week. Tomorrow, Monday, and then on Tuesday are going to be our first training sessions. So Coach Ty and myself will be there doing really small group, semi-private lessons, which would be epic. And then, guys, April 26th, so that's going to be this Saturday, we're doing another open practice. So come check it out. You can ride a outdoor suspension, you can ride enduro suspension even, and it would be safe. But this track is so much fun. I want to say we opened the gates at 3 p.m. We went all the way till 10 p.m. So we flipped the lights on and had a few hours under the lights. It was $30 for non-members, or sorry, $30 for Winchester members, $40 for non-members. It was a blast. And we're just going to make this time even that much cooler. If you came for the first one and you loved it, the track is going to be leveled up even further. So the track changes that I just mentioned, with the higher berms, more whoops, a different rhythm change. And that's going to be the idea. So as you guys ride this track, like, I'm going to be pumping money into it. Again, don't tell Allie. I'm going to be pumping money into it to just make constant changes all the time. So people are always having to learn new different things. If you guys enjoyed this podcast clip and you want to listen to full episodes, you can do so on Spotify and Apple Music. If you want to send in your own video submission, you can join us in the Moto Academy family inside of the Moto Academy app by just going to themotoacademy.com. That's also where you can sign up for a class. Okay, guys, see you next episode.